afternoon, evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ange-r Management. And who'd have thought a few weeks ago that we would be talking 3 defeats in a row, and that Tottenham Hotspur have joined an elite group and become the 5th Premier League team in history to lose 3 games in a row after going 1-0 up. Lots and lots to talk about. Of course, it's me and my brother Johnny that is back with me. Johnny, how are you, sir?
I'm conflicted. I'm wearing black today, obviously, for the because I am in mourning. But as you say, only the 5th team ever to be 1 goal up and lose 3 games on the trot. And when you look at those 3 games, we shouldn't have lost any of them.
Yep.
That's the sad part about it. We should not have lost any of them. So when I say I'm conflicted, I look on the positive and the negative of each of these results that's going. We even did that when we were winning, Brian, remember?
Yep.
And we were accused of being negative. Do you remember? When we were looking at the things that weren't quite right? So no doubt we'll be classed. I'll be accused of being negative today. Can I just say, I wanted to start with basically, I'm absolutely gutted that El Tel died. I know he was 80 years of age, but for me, growing up, he just was the manager that I absolutely loved him. Right, I loved his personality. I loved the character. He was a fans manager. He was. I mean, there was a picture I posted yesterday of him winning the Spanish league, and underneath him was a 15-year-old Pep Guardiola looking up at the master. The master and the apprentice. But I don't think I've ever been as excited for a manager when. Forget your Contes and Mourinho's. When Terry Venables was announced Spurs manager after being Barca manager, I was beside myself with excitement. For me, he was the bomb, and we had Gaza and Lineker and all the characters that we had in that team, and of course, obviously, that win in the '91 FA Cup and that amazing semi-final. But even as an England manager, could you imagine Terry Venables with this current England team? What it would be like? We'd be smashing everyone to bits.
Yep.
It was a tactical visionary, whereas Southgate is inept. He's no visionary. I was just absolutely gutted. I actually had a record. I think it was from 67. It was in the 60s. A 45. For all those who don't know what a 45 is, it's like a small single size record. And I also had a bigger one. I think it was a 70. I can't remember. 78 was it? I can't remember. With all the Spurs players singing songs. They went to a bar or what have you, and they were all having a sing song. And Terry, you couldn't keep Terry off the mic singing Bye Bye Blackbird and all these other old tunes. There aren't many characters like him left. And, I think Ange is probably, the biggest maverick we've had maybe since then. I don't know what you think.
Well, listen, when it comes to it, and I can see he's in the chat, and I'll go through the chat before we get into Ange Management. Stell's in the chat, so big up my brother Stell. Big show on Tottenham away tomorrow that I'll talk about in a second. But for people of mine and Stell's age, he would have been the first manager we remember. I remember 86, 87 in the cup final with David Pleat, but don't remember watching that season.
I remember all of that, unfortunately.
But Terry Venables was the first manager I went to see live, was the first manager I got to see win a cup, was the manager that brought in Gaza, like you said, that you could just see from the tributes, not just from Tottenham players,
everybody
players around the world and England internationals, even David Seaman, saying by far one of the best managers I ever played on a real players a real players manager. We had Barcelona on one. Obviously, did wonderful at Tottenham. QPR. He was incredible
everywhere. Look what he did at Palace as a youth,
Yeah,
with a bunch of youth from the third division to the League One.
But also, what you got to look at, I obviously wasn't at home for the Euros in 2021 because of COVID. I was here in Toronto. But obviously, we didn't get to enjoy it and experience it like we did Euro 96. Euro 1996 was one of the greatest times of my life during that. And it was because of him and the team he played. Just a wonderful, wonderful man.
It's the football, Brian, wasn't it?
Oh,
mate,
it
was
listen.
The expansive football. He was playing the press before forget your Klopps and your Guardiolas. He was playing this type of football way ahead of anybody else.
Yep. And you look at it, as we like you said, the football we played was just incredible. Was just incredible. You knew what you would get, or you didn't know what you're getting. That was the brilliance of it. And it just brought back memories now. Obviously, you and I are in a little group where the rumours started, and then it started gathering pace in my Levy out groups and whatever that the rumours had come through. And then I just got in the cab to get to the Scotland Yard yesterday, and then Sky News confirmed it. It's just shocking. It's just such a sad day for Tottenham Hotspur, such a sad day for English football, period. And everyone here sends his family and his friends their condolences, and an upsetting day. But on another reason for it being an upsetting day, let's just go through the comments before we and before I mention the comments as well. I don't know what YouTube has done, people, but for some reason I've had a few channels say this to me as well, that their channels are suffering at the moment, but not because of anything. I think they've done something with notifications. So if you haven't been getting your notifications, or YouTube have taken your bell off, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't, or set your notification bell to all to get all of our content that's coming. And December, there's a lot of great content, including our advent calendar, which you're not going to want to miss. But right, let's just go through the comments, then we can get into yesterday's performance. So big up, Jamie. Yep, 3 losses. Now we're in exactly. Ange-r Management is taking on the name that we thought it was going to take on a lot earlier. Hemorrhoid, good morning. We will fill you in with everything. Andrew, good morning, sir.
Morning, Andrew.
Benjamin, good morning, sir. Very sad. We just discussed. I don't care what it takes. Won't be back in January. As much as I would love to come and stand with everyone on the club shop, I wish I could. The big news I said about Tottenham away, so people will know. Stelios, a guy called Shy, me and Brian Ireland started Tottenham away a little while back. Well, every Monday they do their Monday podcast, and today is their 150th one, their 150th consecutive one. So tomorrow at 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Toronto time, Tottenham away and Tottenham on tour are doing a live reunion special. If it's good enough for Friends and the Fresh Prince, it's good enough for Tottenham away. We're having a reunion show, so it should be a lot of fun. Everyone check out Tottenham away. Fran, good morning, darling.
Morning,
I hope you're
Fran.
okay. Andrew Gregory, with RIP Tell. Still, Ange can't do it anymore, but with the crap we have at this club, either Levy builds a squad or Yep, we'll try and start, or who knows, I'm sure Levy will creep in somewhere with me. Quick question from No, I never. I didn't think 1991 would be from being the first team to win it 8 times. I never in a million years thought here we are going into 2024 that we still wouldn't have won the FA Cup. Would you have thought so, Johnny?
No, I mean, let's be honest, right? I think what killed Venables was another SOB, which was Alan Sugar. I think the court case with Alan Sugar, between him and Alan Sugar, absolutely knocked the stuffing out of him, to be honest with him. Something happened to him after that, I think. So, no, I don't think anyone thought that. I mean, We've had our near misses, we've had our finals, we've had our semis, and I'm talking football. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know where we're going from here.
Well, hopefully, Ange will get us to an FA Cup final. Here's hoping. Because anyone that thought we were winning the league and giving it, oh yeah, we're going to win the league, that's done. That's game over. That's done. Big up, Ryan, mate. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. Philly is in the building. Good morning to you. Who else have we not seen? Good, Inakoma, good morning to you. And of course, always, Colin Cross is in the building. Big up, Colin. I hope you're good, mate. My boys, TV was evacuated to the run in the Second World War. There we go. Hemorrhoid is still big back in Kookaburra. Yeah. Big up. Toxic is in the building. Big up, Toxic. Who else have we not said hello to? George is in the building. I hope you're good, George. Who else is here? Daniela is here. Hope you're good. Who else have we got that isn't here? That I haven't. Peter is here. And now we're there.
Yeah. Of course, he won the cup in '67, Peter. I hadn't forgotten. I think we were so busy focusing on that. I think he was the only player to represent England at every level, from schoolboys, English league, under every level, basically. No point me listing them all. But yeah, I mean, as a player, he was a top player. I loved him. But, obviously his big mark came, as a manager. So let's get on to...
Let's get on to it. So I'm going to fill it in for people again, just so people understand the concept of this show and how we do it. First of all, if everyone likes amazing artwork with AI and everything, and you saw the graphic at the beginning before we started the show, go check out this guy's Twitter, who does some amazing pieces for us, but does some incredible artwork. Go check him out. It's a fantastic account. Also, he puts on loads of accumulators, hence his name, and he gets so close every single time. It's incredible. But right, just so people understand before they come in and start.
I thought for a minute when I read that, Brian, I was thinking what you said to me before about Lord Farquhar.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, you're going to have that in my head now. So, just so people understand the concept of this show, we will discuss the negatives to begin with. If Johnny and I thought something was negative, we will say it was a negative. That's not because we just want to bitch and moan. We lost the game. There are negatives. We then go on to the positives. We will then speak about players that deserve a special mention. And there are a few. There are a good few that do deserve it today. And then we speak about the man himself. So, Johnny, let's start with the negatives. Where are you going?
I've got a few. Okay. I'm going to start in a strange place. No, I'm not. We can't finish. We cannot finish, right? At the start of this season, everyone was worried about the defence and how the defence would gel. Mickey van der Ven only came in a week before the season started. We're going to be in trouble. We had no pre-season, which is half the reason we've got so many injuries, I reckon, or one of the reasons. And yet the defence has been outstanding up until just recently, obviously. And everyone was confident that our attack was going to be something. We had so many options. We had permutation of this, we had permutation of that. We signed Johnson, da-di-da-di-da. It hasn't panned out like that. These last few games, the Chelsea game, we should have won. Sonny should have, I'm not being funny, right? 4 games, 4 goals he scored where he's been offside. I was 3 yesterday. The one against Chelsea, the 3 yesterday. I think a couple of them definitely should not have been offside. You're 31, you're experienced. You should be looking down that line, should not be panicking. I mean, we had 18 shots. Martinez saved 6 of them, I think. Hit the post twice, had 3 goals disallowed. And basically only 7 shots on target. And those 7 shots, let's be honest, I'll forgive Brian Gill because, he's been out a long time, hasn't played for a long time, but he should have been drilling that into the bottom right-hand corner. Johnson should have done better. I mean, we're just not finishing. And at the end of the day, you've got to finish your dinner. Otherwise, if you don't finish your dinner, you get punished for not finishing your dinner, as you used to say as a kid. You know, must finish your dinner. And we get punished. It's the oldest thing in football, and it came to roost. I turned around to the guy next to me during the game, start the second half, and I said, whatever happens here, we've lost this game. He said, no. I said, look, I'm telling you, it's written. Unfortunately, it's written. And we know as soon as Lolo went off that, you know, I think Gio had too much on his hands to do it single-handedly as much as he tried.
Yep. I mean, I'll piggyback where you left off. Aston Villa had 5 shots on target and scored 2 goals. That's a 40% conversion rate. That's not, are we Vicario had a bad? That's not the case. We have had it for years that Kane will get us out of trouble. Obviously,
Kane would have buried them, wouldn't he?
Kane got us out of trouble. Now it's if Son doesn't score, we're in trouble. We've overlooked a key area once again in the transfer window. Listen, don't get me wrong. You would think Kulusevski, Johnson, Son would be able to handle it and get it, but it is being shown right now. All right, let's also got the goal, but if Son doesn't score a goal a game, or at least we just can't do it. There is, like you said, Johnny, we went in with our defence being our biggest weakness, and we came into this season with our defence being our biggest strength. That's how much of it, and you've got to remember with that, we lost our main player, our superstar, our icon, our franchise, whatever words you want to use for it. You cannot create 18 attempts on goal.
Well, when he would have balled out, I mean, you know, Sonny's, we got a lot to be thankful for Son for.
Oh, completely.
You know,
completely.
But I'm sorry, I'm not going to forgive you for pulling out that header. That ball came across from Brian Gill. It was a perfect ball. He should have thrown himself. That ball should have been in the back of the net. It should have been in the back of the net. I didn't understand. There was some poor finishing. Poor finishing. You know, there's no excuse. There's no excuses for 18 shots, 7 on target and 1 goal. There's none. I'm sorry.
Yep.
You know, Kulu's missed. Oh my God, he done the hard bit. How did you miss that? There's no excuse.
That, I mean, I must admit, and I'm sure it probably happened around the world. When that happened, that gave me flashbacks. Now I'm going to go back to a game. Do you remember with George Graham when David Ginola went on that running in the FA Cup against Leeds?
Barnsley?
No, when he went up against Leeds in the FA Cup at home, when he took on all the team, shot, and it went off the post and came out, and George Graham started celebrating and hadn't realised it hit the post. And the whole of the Scotland Yard, and I'm sure pubs around the world and people watching at home and even at the game, started celebrating that because it was a goal. And then it was like a few seconds later and realised, wait a minute, that ain't got him. For me, it was harder for him to miss. It's harder for him to miss than score. And somehow, listen, that was one thing, but we're going on with the negatives here. And like you said, for me, the number one thing is we have got to be more ruthless. If you look at it, and let's be serious, next game against Man City, we're not getting 18 chances. Period.
They're vulnerable. Listen, I got to tell you, I said at the beginning of the season, and I will not take it back. I think Man City sold too many players and are vulnerable, right? And nothing I've seen has made me. I know they're still right up there, but I'm just saying, I still think that they sold too many players, and they could possibly pay the price for it. But let's see what happens.
What happens. I mean, do you know what? It's got to the point now. I could either just a harmless potato and Ronnie. Good morning to you both. And Boxing Hotspur, I've just seen him. Big up to yourselves. Listen, I'm going to talk about him briefly, but only for one moment because I refuse to keep speaking about this every single game. Refereeing. Only thing do you know what? The only thing I want to mention, 2 things. Dead set penalty. How is Matty Cash on the pitch? How? I don't want to talk about anything else because I'm getting fed up of. We all know the referees shit. Refereeing in this country has gone to pot.
It's shocking, Brian.
But the main thing is we didn't win that game because we, like you said, for the terminology, we didn't finish our dinner.
Yeah.
They should have been down to 10 men immediately. I think even after that tackle on Bentancur, he made another couple of tackles that warranted a card. He should have been off, and it was most definitely a penalty. And now we're waiting to see how. With Bentancur again, do you know the thing that pissed me off is again the medical team have allowed him to walk off.
I mean, honestly, Brian, I was going mental, and the guy behind me is going, "Mate, calm down." I said, "Look, you don't understand, right? I've been going on about this for a frigging year about what happened to Lolo last time.
Yep.
You know, when Kane told him he heard a bang, right, and he didn't listen, and he walked off, and then he walked back on, and then they walked him all the way round. He had to walk off. He was on one leg hopping, right? Put him on a fucking stretcher.
Yep.
Carry him off. I
Yep.
mean, when Neto had his hamstring injury, right? On came the stretcher. On came the medical team in 2 seconds.
Yep.
On the stretcher, carried him off. What, Mickey van der Ven? Walk off on your own. In fact, Eric Dyer had to try and help.
We spoke about
and
this.
Then he walked round. Yes.
We spoke. Listen, we spoke about this last time when I joked about and said, "Is Daniel Levy charging per stretcher?" And that's why we're not doing it. You've got to have like your leg chopped off or something to warrant it. Like Fan and a couple of others have said, though, there is no doubt in my mind that since the Liverpool game, and there's a few people that have mentioned it, it's funny how decisions just happen to conveniently not be going our way.
Since the Liverpool game, I mean, listen, you tell me how. I think we had 51 touches in the box yesterday. All right, third most in the entire season.
Yep.
And yet we still have not had a penalty. 13 games in, not one penalty have we had. Right?
It's ridiculous. What's your next?
My next one is. I'm sorry, I have to bring this up. I thought the sub was shocking. I thought the substitution. You know, I love a lot of what Ange's doing, but that sub bringing off Gio. Gio was knackered, right? Let's be serious here, right? Gio hasn't started for 2 years. Gil hasn't started for a year. Lolo hasn't played for 10 months. Gio was knackered, right? He played 2 full 90 minutes against Brazil and can't remember the other games at Bolivia. I can't remember. He's flown halfway around the world. He's come here. He's had a fantastic game. He was done. So was Gil. But I'm sorry. We're chasing the game and you bring on Skip. There was the moment for me. You bring on Jamie Donnelly with 10 minutes to go. What is the worst that can happen? The kid can open up defences. I don't want to hear. I understand the argument for Ashley Phillips at 18 and Dorrington at 17, 18, playing them at centre back. It's a risk. It's putting them into the fire. But we saw at Newcastle. We've seen at Man United. We've seen at clubs time and time again. You can play an 18-year-old, a 17-year-old in these games if they've got the skill. And I'm sorry, Jamie Donnelly has the skill. He has the skill set to unlock defences, and he should have been given that moment. He should have been brought on with Veliz. He could have pushed Phillips through the middle. Johnson through the middle. He could have done a lot. But the game was done when he brought on Skip. And Skip, I'm sorry, again was exposed for what he is. I don't hate Skip, but he's just too limited. I'm sorry. He needs to find pastures new. He was outstanding for Norwich. That's probably his level, or maybe the lower echelons of the Premier League. But for where we want to be, he isn't it. And Jamie Donnelly should have come on and been given that 10 minutes. What is the point of him being on the bench? We got umpteen and one injuries. What message does that send to him? It really angered me. There's a lot to be positive about with what Ange's doing, right? But that for me was wrong.
Well, Joe, we'll have a little chat about the youngsters because I made a big deal of this on Twitter. As soon as I'm lucky enough to be able to watch all the games living here in Toronto, I get to watch all the games, not like back home where you don't get the Saturday 3 o'clock, whatever. And I watched the Newcastle game. And then when I saw their 17-year-old creating assists, I was like, I don't recognise that name. Let me go have a look at the lineup on my app. 17 years old. So I went, oh, look, amazing. Another team that played. I got told, oh, it's injuries. And I was like, okay, that's what Spurs have right now. Then you hear this is the one I love. They go, we don't want them to play. They haven't got and it might break their confidence. They're not
only
ready.
For a centre back. I mean, I agree.
No, but Johnny, this is the thing. We did this with Japhet Tanganga. All right, his career didn't work out the way, but no one knew about him when Jose put him in. He had a blinding game.
Yeah.
And all the fans are saying, yeah, if we lose, it could hurt. Why do people naturally assume we would lose? Why do naturally? I've had enough of people saying, and then they go, oh, it could rock their confidence. When you get a promotion at work and your new manager says to you, okay, I need you to do this for me. You don't go, oh, no, I've got the promotion, but I don't want to do it. It could rock my... No, you do it. We have a saying that you mentioned finishing your dinner, jumping in at the deep end. Why does everyone think they're going to fail? Japhet Tanganga did it. Ledley King. Listen, I'm not comparing Phillips and Dorrington to Ledley King before people say it. Like you said, when we're in a bad spot, when you're playing defenders out of position, or Eric Dyer in position, which is just as bad as playing him out of position, go for it.
I just think Donnelly we know that Donnelly's special, right?
Yeah.
We know that he's special. There's something special about him, right, that can unlock defences. And, I just think, right, in all honesty, the man who speaks the truth, never. When he turned around and he said, we've appointed Ange because Ange believes in that philosophy of bringing through youth and he will play youth. We heard all the stories about if he's good enough, they will play. Age isn't a barrier to me.
Correct.
Right? Now, what I don't understand is you're in a situation, you're chasing the game. Had we been trying to secure the game and we'd have been 2-1 up, I could have understood the sub, even though he was like headless chicken chasing the ball, right? Donnelly would have got on the ball and he would have been slipping the balls in. He would have been trying to break the lines, just as Lolo and Gio were doing. I don't understand it. I didn't understand it against Wolves. It changed the whole momentum of the game against Wolves with his subs. I didn't like what he did in this game, and I just think it was a huge mistake because the game was gone. I do agree though, Brian, that playing someone like Ashley Phillips could be a risk to his confidence at 18. I'm not saying he's no good. I'm not saying he's not going to go on and become a great player. But time and time again, you see 17 and 18-year-olds playing. Look at Garnacho's goal the other day. 19 years of age doing that stuff, and we've seen what talent he was before. And another Hannibal, Man United, and that kid that he threw in the midfield. He spent that money on Amrabat. I've forgotten the name of the kid.
I can't remember. I didn't watch the game yesterday. Apart from that goal.
Man United, they put a kid in the middle of the park.
Hello.
Yeah. I mean, Bellingham was exceptional, and that was the championship. But still, yes. But it's in the middle of the park. Is my point. And I just think that if I was Jamie Donnelly today, I would be a bit demoralised because I was thinking, there was my opportunity. We're 2-1 down, chasing the game. Gio's come off. There's no one else to come on. If you're not going to play today, you're never going to get a game. Okay, so this is where I'm going to go. This is to be my last negative, and I'm going to have to go here because it's not even about it's our fan base once again. It's our fan base when it comes to things like this, where we lambast people playing Dyer and Davies, or this one and that one and Emerson. And do you know what? Ben Davies is getting a special mention from me. I don't know if you were going to mention him first, John. He certainly will be mine. But we have a go at that. And it's like, okay, we'll play the youth. Oh, no, we don't want to rock their confidence. They want these players out. But then when you give them alternatives, no, I don't want them there. Play these ones. And then I don't trust the youth. But you'd rather trust the players that have let you down time and time again and get the same result. I keep saying it. People like myself, people like Stell, people that are staunch, leave you out, will never change what we're saying. Never change the narrative, never change the whatever. We stay there. But then people lambast players
They have a go at this, they have a go at that, but then when you say, right, let's try this as an alternative, oh no, they haven't got the experience. So you'd rather go with experience that have let you down. Listen, I'm not saying next game, especially with Man City, play Phillips if he was back from injury, play Dorrington, play Donnelly, all at the same time. That's not what we're saying. Even if you bring them on for a bit, all right, we're 2-1 down, we're going for the win. And I could have understood not bringing Dorrington on because you're going for the win. But like you said, when Ollie Skip came on, I said to the people I was sitting on my table with, I was like, that's it, it's done. It's done. And not because Ollie Skip's a bad player. We're taking off an attacking player when we need a goal.
Yeah.
And it just got me. But this is the problem. When, like Philly just said, what's the definition of sanity? Repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting something different. The young players are there. Like you said, Johnny, central defence is a hard position to come in.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, the one way, in a kind of way, I would say with yesterday, and we'll get onto this. I'll just quickly carry on with this. Can I
just finish?
Go on.
Before you go into the positives, I don't want to hear everyone going on about Emerson Royal and Ben Davies, and going on. It's their fault. We did not lose that game because of Emerson Royal and Ben Davies. I'm sorry, we did not. We lost that game because we didn't score our goals. We didn't take our chances. Okay. Yes, we might have conceded a couple. Okay. They don't have the physicality for a start. I mean, they're not 6'2", 6. I mean, we got 6'1" is Romero, 6'4" is what's his name? Yeah. And you know, we're not going to compete with that. They're two backs. All right. He plays for Wales at centre back, Davies, but let's be serious, right? They've never played together. They're playing against a good Villa team who like to attack against Ollie Watkins. And let's be honest, you know, that they lost in the air. I mean, Ben Davies lost Pau Torres in the air for the first one.
Yep.
I mean, the goal that was disallowed, they had Johnson marking him, 6'4". I mean, but we did not lose that game because of those two guys. These two guys have come in and are being asked to do a job. The gap between the two players was wrong. What do you expect? What do you expect? They're wingers. They're not centre backs.
Exactly, Johnny. What I will add to that very quickly is when you want to look at where the blame kind of should be for this game, and yes, Ben Davies may have been at fault or not up to pace or whatever.
Yeah.
When Aston Villa have 5 attempts on target and score 2 goals, and we have 18 attempts on goal, 8 on target, and score 1, that's not a defender problem. But that's listen, Martinez is a wonderful goalkeeper, and that double save was exceptional. Yeah. But yeah, like I was gonna say with the positives is, I'm gonna go first for this one. I was dreading that Sarr would be out and it would be Skip, Højbjerg, and Bentancur in midfield. At the Scotland Yard, just sitting there waiting for the lineups came up. When the lineup came out, I was blown away. I was like, Jesus goddamn Christ. We are going for it, and we are going for it big time. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be the Spurs we want to see. This is what... And it most certainly was that. But what I will say with it, I mean, we'll come on to the players, as you know, after, Johnny. The first half, I think we were exceptional. Probably our best 45 minutes under the entire time with Ange, football-wise. But that team, for me, was built solely to attack Aston Villa and just be it, which we did. There was no consideration into that way, which I get. Listen, that's not me having a thing at Ange. It was literally, this game was geared solely to say, right, we're just going to absolutely batter them and just literally non-stop throw the kitchen sink at them. And we did. But that way, it was just too easy. But I think some of the football, Johnny, in the first half, even in the first 10 minutes, was breathtaking.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, when I saw the lineup, I messaged everyone, said, I'm so excited. This is what I've been waiting for. Gio's playing, Gill's playing on one side. I mean, I was really excited. I thought it was really, really positive. I was happy that Emerson Royal was playing instead of Dyer. I've got to be honest. I was really excited, and I think that first half, that first 30 minutes up until Lolo got injured, was the best football I've seen us play all season. It was incredible. It was scintillating. Some of the touches and the movement and the passing was fantastic. The link play between Gio, Lolo, and Kulu up front was magical. Some of the touches from Lolo were sublime. And I was thinking to myself, Maddison didn't even know he was missing. We did, because he's created something, and it reminded me a bit of Pep's Barcelona in the sense of, I'm not getting carried away here, in those opening minutes where, you control the ball, and when you lose the ball, you do everyone en masse. You hunt like a pack of wolves to get that ball back, and that's what we did. Our ball recovery was superb, but our final ball was just bad. It's just bad. But that for opening 20 minutes, even 30, I would say, probably 30 minutes, was absolutely superb. And that's just what I'm saying. It's about positives and negatives.
Yep.
I think it was a brave team choice. We would never have seen that under Conte. We would have never seen that under any other manager. And I think, hats off to him for that. So it's the yin to the yang of the substitutions.
Yep. And I think, what, there's not much more to talk about the positives. It really was our way of football. Right, let's get through them, Johnny. Let's get through them. You always go first, and I know exactly who you're going to say first. So
listen, look, I've taken a lot of stick, and I understand it. But listen, I've always had faith in Gio, always. Has he done it for Spurs? Absolutely not, right? He has not performed in a Spurs shirt. I totally understand it. But as a player, he is a top player. You don't drag Villarreal to the semi-finals of the Champions League and be highlighted as the man, right? And not be a player. You don't play every single game of the qualifiers for Argentina and be praised by Lionel, right? And be the man. In fact, when he got injured, Messi asked for him to be flown out, and he became part of the medical team or the trainers, what have you.
Yep.
So he was there for every part of it. And he was brilliant. He got the assist as well for the win against Brazil. I was desperate for him to start. I was fuming that he didn't start against Wolves. And when he came on against Wolves, he had the only shot on target. It was a great effort and a great save by Sarr. And his ball recovery was great. He worked his arse off yesterday. He was absolutely out on his feet. And if he doesn't start every single game now, right, until Madders comes back, then I'm going to be mad. He wasn't even coming on. This is another thing I've got to say about Ange. He wasn't even getting minutes when he came back and he was fit. And Madders was coming off with 20 minutes to go. He still wasn't coming on. I mean, it's no coincidence that Xavi wants him at Barcelona. Now Gavi's been injured.
Yep.
They'll probably come back for him in January. But we cannot afford to let him go. We really can't. I thought it was absolutely superb yesterday. I don't know what his stats were. Hang on a second. I've got them here. Let's have a look. His stats were yesterday 2 shots, 1 on target, 3 key passes, 87 touches, 74 passes, 91.9% passing accuracy, 4 tackles, 2 fouls won, and 3 fouls conceded. 91.9% passing accuracy in a team like that, I mean, it's superb.
Listen, he had, excuse me, a very, very good game. In his first comeback, his 18th comeback,
First start in 2 years.
He played very, very well. Listen, I think the thing, especially with me, I don't know what it's like with everyone else. When it comes to Gio, we know he's got the talent. We know he can do it. It's whether he stays fit long enough to do it at Tottenham Hotspur. He's gone on loans and been fit. When he's been here, he hasn't. He goes to Argentina, he does well. It just hasn't worked for him here. And I think this formation that we played yesterday with the two more attack-minded players certainly helped him. But his recovery yesterday, forget what he was doing up there, his recovery, I remember in his first season when we had all or nothing, until Kane and Son got their big injuries, he was one of our, if not one of, he was right up there with our best player. Then he got injured, and the rest happened. I think he now is a guaranteed starter until Maddison's back with that kind of.
He won the ball back 3 times.
I think he was. I mean, when he scored the goal, I didn't realise until obviously we saw the replay just how much of a deflection it went in. That was still going on target. Whether it would have gone in is another thing. But he came in with a lot of people thinking, right, here we go. Can he do it? Is he going to deliver? What can he do? Is he going to get through 90 minutes? Is he going to pull up? And he comes off that pitch having put in a very, 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 very solid performance. And like you said, Johnny, you come in for a lot of stick because you have put your neck on the block with him.
Yeah.
And yesterday was vindicated. Yesterday you were proven right.
One swallow doesn't make a summer.
Exactly.
Right? But, it's a start. I'm not silly here. I know he's got to consistently do it, but I'm saying he has it in his locker. And when you've had no creativity, you've got to turn to him.
Well, this is the thing. This again. Do you know what? I'm going to move on to my first special mention, and I am going to mention a Welsh player. So Colin Cross will be happy. So will David and all the other Welsh people. People said he may have a little problem with for the fault of the goals, but like we said, to me it's the attack that made us lose yesterday, not the defence. Obviously, they're part with the goals, but we should have scored more. I think Ben Davies was very good yesterday. Listen, do I think he's got a career at Tottenham? Is he in my top 2 for Spurs defenders? Of course not. No one's. But at least when he comes in, he gives everything he can. Some of his defensive work yesterday was incredible. And I think because people hear the word Ben and Davies, they go, and I must admit, you've got another part, and I must admit, Stell is another one, just like you, Johnny, that is non-stop. And I mean, obviously, I've been streaming with Stell a lot longer than I have with you, and he most certainly
in the right system, Brian. Okay, he is sublime, right?
Yep.
He does not suit pragmatic football. It's as simple as that.
Yep. So sorry, I fell off my track. Going to
sorry.
No, that was my fault. It's actually Stell's fault. I'm to blame Stell. Stell gets the blame for everything. So Stell, you've derailed the show. It's all your fault. You're the problem. So yeah, I think Ben Davies is listen, when we have a clean out in January or the summer, if I had to choose one of the deadwood that everyone's saying, oh my God, get them out, I think it would be Ben Davies that stayed. Not saying I want him to stay, whatever. I'm just saying if we had to keep one, I think, like I said, his defensive work. I mean, I've seen reports that Ange was going mad at him at the beginning because he was holding on for the ball too long, and obviously Ange wants it. But some of his defensive work, I thought he deserves a lot of credit yesterday. Yes, the goals we can all say maybe he was at fault, maybe he switched off. But listen, this is when you've had this player who you bought as a left back, now playing left centre back, and he's playing left centre. We got 2 right back and a left back that have now inverted to centre backs. Yes, Ben Davies does it for his country, but what do you expect? What do you expect when you keep repeating, as we said earlier, keep repeating the same thing over and over again? But I'm not one that will just bash a player like Ben Davies just because it's Ben Davies, or Eric Dyer's a different kettle of fish. But Johnny, what did you think of Ben Davies yesterday?
Listen, look, we were a team that played with 4 backs and 4 wingers and still produced. I mean, let's be honest, right? Okay, like I'm listening to the TV, right, and I'm going to anger some people here. Some of the women commentators on, like, for God's sake, man, listen, give us some credit. 10 players missing. 10 players, right? Take out Saliba, and take out Saka and Martinelli and Jesus and this one and that one, and see how well Arsenal produce, or Liverpool or Man City. They lost Rodri and lost, 3 games on the trot. So come on. Look, I would rather have Davis any day of the week than the pointy man. He was at fault for the goal, the first goal. He let Torres get on the wrong side of him.
Yeah, but Joe, what I have to say one thing with that, Johnny, that delivery for that goal. Listen, yes, Ben Davies, that is a world-class delivery.
Can I just tell you, Brian Gill? Right, okay, so Brian Gill's pass back was not the best. It put Vic under pressure, but he cleared that ball. We were talking before about the referee. That free kick that led to the goal was absolutely pathetic. Gio goes like he didn't even do anything. Gio's gone up, right, with Pat Cash.
Yep.
Matty Cash. And Cash has gone down like he's been hit by a truck. That was never a free kick. I mean, it was the softest free kick. Again, the poor refereeing, in my opinion. But yeah, look, I thought he did well against Wolves until the end. But unfortunately, the game's about 90 minutes of concentration, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault. He's now at a level where Ange Ball's not for him, really. I mean, he's our last ditch hope, but it's the club's fault. We should never have left ourselves to be in this position. We've only one left centre back, only one real left back. We should have kept Reggie just to fill in. Good enough for Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, and Man United, but not good enough for us to keep as a backup. Yeah, he did all right. He did all right. He did all right. And as I said before, Brian, it wasn't the reason we lost, I believe.
Yep. So who's your next one after?
It's got to be Lolo. I mean,
okay.
First of all, I did worry. I've been going on about it for the last 2 weeks. Bring him back slowly. I think he played 80-something minutes, came on as a sub for Uruguay in one of the games, and then played 80-odd minutes in another game. He's flown away, and I was worried. I said, let's not rush him back. We do not want him breaking down. It's the last thing we need, especially, with Basuma and Sarr going away. I got to tell you, if I was Yves Basuma sat on that bench in that first 30 minutes, I'd be going, whoa, that guy is unbelievable. Yep. I'm going to really have to be on my game. And Sarr, right? I'm going to have to be really on my game to get back in this team. Because this guy with Gio, the two of them together were absolutely sublime. The link play, the touches, players should have done better with the ball. But the way he wanted to play the ball, demanding the ball, controlling the game, pointing to players where they should be. I thought it was absolutely superb. And I knew as soon as he went down, when he was banging that turf, it just took me back to Leicester.
Yep.
And look how long it took for them to get on the pitch. And then they go on, carry on. I mean, oh yeah, it's an assessment. Yeah, you're fine. What did he do? Like 3 more steps and then collapsed. What damage did he do? And I think he had a pass where he was on one leg.
Well, it reminded me as well with Gaza in the 91 FA Cup final.
Yeah.
When he busted his knee and they tried to do it, and then within seconds...
it's not the same guy, is it?
He was only on for... How long was he on for? 28, 29 minutes, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
He just oozes class. He is just such a special player.
Magical.
Yeah, and like you said, the thought of him and Basuma together, if Basuma's on his song and he's back to normal, because I don't think he's been the same since the sending off.
No.
Then the midfield and Maddison. But yeah, I think Kulu's just... not Kulu, sorry, he's going to be the next person I'll speak about. Bentancur is just an exceptional player, and let's just hope, because we were all say, I mean, this is the thing that's worrying me now. We're all saying, let's ease him back, because in January, there's no Basuma, there's no Sarr, that's when he'll come in. Now, if that is a long-term injury, in January, the whole midfield that has started, Maddison will be back, sorry, but literally Bentancur, Sarr, Bissouma, potentially, we know Sarr and Bissouma definitely, but with Bentancur as well, it's like, well, that midfield needs. It's let's just pray that it's
he
not.
went straight down the tunnel. Listen, he went straight down the tunnel. Why didn't they get a couple of crutches so that he could at least take the weight off of the then start there. I mean, I've got to tell you, Romero's face.
Oh, mate.
Romero's face when he saw what had happened. Pat Cash. Could you imagine if he'd been on that pitch? Pat Cash would have been in row Z at some point.
Some of the tweets I've seen, I saw the best tweet and the funniest tweet yesterday where someone said, right, and shows a picture of Romero's face at that time and says, okay, so we play Aston Villa in March or April. Once he gets a red card for smashing Matt Cash out of Villa Park, these are the 3 games he'll be missing. I was like, you can just see it. He's going to go into Villa and he will clump him. And I can see Football Heritage are in the building, so big up to Football Heritage. But yeah, next one I want to talk about is... and Ellie is here. Can't miss Ellie. Hope
Morning,
you are
Ellie.
good. Yeah, I am going to talk about Kulusevski. Everyone have been saying, right, let's see him on the left.
How many times we said, bring him
on the left. Let's see him in the centre. As a guy that's on the Hotspur hood, Danny, that's been saying it as well.
Yeah.
At the start of the game, at the centre, I mean, all right, he missed his hit the post, but the flicks, he was dominant. I really want to see more of him in the centre. I really do. Obviously, he got pushed out back to the right later on in the game. And I think, again, he works his socks off, but he's just not as effective. I think he was more effective in the centre for the time he was there than he has been for a majority of this season. I think at the start of the game, he was in a very, very, very good place. And I want to see more of that. What about you, Johnny?
Well, I said before, as soon as I heard Ange had been appointed, as you know, I turned around and I said, Sonny can't play on the right, on the left, and Kulu cannot play out on the right. They are not take-on players in that sense. I don't believe that's their strength. And you've got to bring him into the middle. I actually think he could be an 8, personally. But, he could maybe be a 10. He thinks he's a 10. I think he could possibly be an 8, Kulu. And I've been dying all season to see him in that position. And again, sometimes in football, through adversity, comes a surprise. And that was the one thing I spoke about before the game yesterday, when I saw the team selection, this is when managers find things out about players they didn't know that in real game time situations and can turn your season. Maybe this is one of them, because would he ever have bought Kulu inside had we had full complement of players? No. So maybe he'll get a run out, more games in this position. He's got great energy. His hold-up play was good. Some nice touches and flicks. I think having Gio and Lolo there as well gave him a bit of freedom as well.
Yep.
I'd like to see more of it. I really would like to see more of it. But
before you go into your exactly, but before you go to your next special mention, just got a couple of super chats which I'm going to quickly bring up for us. So first of all, to Michael Hellman, big supporter of the channel as always, as so many of you are. Matty Cash deserves a special mention for being trash. Correct, he does. The refs mention for lacking eyesight, or are we still in the VAR doghouse? Listen, first one for me, Johnny. He's a prick. He's got previous for this. I saw Sava put in a comment.
Doherty, wasn't it? Doherty?
Yeah, it was, but he's done it with other players as well. Obviously, Tottenham, he's got previous. He's got previous with a lot. Sava made a point that obviously we're having a go at Matty Cash and doing this, but then we love Romero when he. It's a valid point. You can't have it both ways, but obviously I think Romero offers a hell of a lot more than Matty Cash does. The refs, listen, Michael, we mentioned it. I've gone past talking about this. It's every team everywhere, especially in the Premier League. There's no getting away from it. We're going to be in the VA. Listen, whilst Liverpool keep paying their monthly subscription to VAR or us, they will be getting away with everything, and we'll be reaping we'll be getting the decisions against us. And then Sava, I'll let you answer this one, Johnny. So some great football in the first half, burnt out after 45 minutes as normal. Got to get some in-game management to adapt when pressing isn't possible.
I thought the in-game management in the second half was poor. I've mentioned that before, Sav. I'm not sure if you were here when I was saying that. But, yeah, I mean, are we dying? Are we dying? I mean, at the beginning, I was thinking we're so fit. Look at us winning games late in the game against Liverpool, late in the game against Sheffield United. You know, that never say die spirit. But I feel that the press and the intensity is such that we are suffering from injuries. I mean, is it any coincidence that the three teams that play such pressing football, you know, Newcastle and us, for example, have the most amount of injuries? I'm not sure. But, yeah, I felt like we were burnt out. And that's why I'm saying, you know, bringing Skip on instead of Donnelly, I thought was a mistake. But, yeah, I think our in-game management was poor. It was very poor against Wolves. We should have been seeing that game out easily. This was far better in an attacking sense. But, no, I agree, Sam. 45 minutes of great football, and then we went.
So whose turn is it for a special mention?
I'm going to.
I did Kulu. It's you, isn't it?
I have given him a hard time before he came. When I say a hard time, I didn't think he could play in the position. But Pedro Porro as an inverted winger, defender, right back, whatever you want to call him. I thought some of his through balls yesterday and some of his passing was fantastic. He did have a couple of iffy moments defensively. But, you know, Ange says, be brave, pass forward. It's, you know, yeah, it's not possible. It's not possible. So, you know, if you're going to do that, it's all very well, Sava, if we'd scored those 3 or 4 goals, and then in the second half, what you do is you manage the game. You manage the game to the end, and you end up winning 4-1 or 4-2, you know, or whatever, right? They come back, they look stronger. But, yeah, so Pedro Porro yesterday, some of his passing was superb. I mean, some of the balls he put in, and they should have been buried. They should have been buried. His delivery, funny enough, for free kicks wasn't so good, right? Surprisingly, he hit the post with one of his efforts. I think his development this season has been amazing under Ange. It really has, and I have to take my hat off to him because I thought he couldn't play that position, and I always saw him more as a right winger, someone who could whip balls in. But what's the point when you've got no one in the middle who's going to head it? Veliz is the only one. His strength is heading the ball. Didn't see one ball crossed in when he came in.
This is the bit I don't understand. But listen, Johnny, I'm going to share the same thing as you. You and me, when we first started Ange-r Management and we lost to Barcelona, I personally tore into Pedro Porro, tore into him, and I kept saying time after time after time, this guy is a fantastic right winger. He's an abysmal defender. But after the Manchester United game and moving forward, completely changed my opinion. Completely. Not saying he's a sublime defender. He's improving every single time. I really like him now. I'd still rather see him at right wing. I really would. But we don't have a right back I trust for him to go there. So I think he's a quality player. Like Stel actually has said that he doesn't think he's good for us going forward. Where was it? Stel said it. Where is it? I don't think
my Instagram account's been suspended. Can you believe
again?
My Instagram account's been deleted with like 9,500 followers because I posted that elbow from the TV.
You're inciting violence. You're inciting violence. How dare you, Johnny? But yeah, Porro, yeah, coming on. But you know what? It's time to move over. You pick one left fullback. I am choosing the other fullback. I have to say, I got very, 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 very concerned when you saw Dyer warming up at the beginning. And the commentary to us was saying that it looks like Adoji's coming off injured. I was like, oh, here we go. He was so advanced. I mean, don't get me wrong. He should have put us 1-0 up. How he skied. Yes, he's a left back, whatever. But I think Destiny Adoji is just a beast for us. And in the first half, he was everywhere. Second half died down a bit, but in the first half, I think he was exceptional. Johnny, what's your thoughts on Destiny?
I thought Destiny was superb in that first half. His ball recovery should have done better with his effort in the opening minute. Yeah, I've definitely a player playing well above his years for sure.
He is. I mean, Johnny, have you got anyone else that you really want to mention, or do we go on to the big man?
I mentioned Johnson just from the fact that I thought he should have done better on a couple of occasions.
It's what it is. It's his final ball.
Yeah.
And Colin, I can see you're in the building still. The chance when he got through 1-on-1 and he stabbed at it. Listen, it was an attempt, and I thought he could have done better. But obviously, there were times where he was going through, and he seemed to be jogging, not sprinting. Now that could be his fitness, it could be tired from international, it could be a host of things. He gets into the positions that he needs to be in. It's that final ball. That final ball was disappointing yesterday. Do you find that, Johnny?
Yeah, his final ball, choosing to air the ball or low ball, or his choice. I mean, look, I'm going to give a little bit more credit and time to Brian Gill, because Brian Gill hasn't played for us for a year. And Brian Gill's decision making, I mean, he put a beautiful ball in for Son, but he hasn't played for a long time. He's been out for a long time. So, you know, whilst his decision making and some of his crosses weren't great, I will afford him that latitude. But I think Johnson needs to be doing better. You know, £50 million nearly. He needs to be doing better.
Yep, and I'm going to see. I'm just going to do it because I thought I have to do this every show. But Scott, I don't know if you're a Spurs fan or you're not. I don't know if you came into the start of the show or you're not. The way this show goes is we talk about the negatives, the positives, the players we thought we played well on the game, and then I was about to say Ange Management, Ange Postecoglou. There is a structure to the show. So don't know if you are Spurs or not, but this show has been going on every single game or every single day after game day. And that's the structure of the show. And where we are right now is talking about the players that we thought had a good game. So hope that explains a few things to you. But yeah, so let's get on to the big man himself. What have we got to say about Ange Postecoglou today, Johnny?
I'm really mixed. Brave choice. Oh, I'll come back.
Okay, so you go take your delivery, so I'll speak. So let's have a quick chat about Ange. As Johnny said, I'm going to take all of Johnny's material now, so he's got nothing to say on his return. That lineup, I'm sure everyone saw that and thought, oh my God, he's going attacking. Oh my God, this is what we want to see. And it was fantastic in the first half. Fantastic football in the first half. As I said when we were doing this before, I look at it in a positive and negative. That team was made to smash Aston Villa without any concern or thought process to them breaching us. And in the first half, for a majority of the time, it was working. But then, as Savro said, and then as Johnny has said, and then as others have said, that second half came around and the in-game management in certain games, especially when we're in a rough patch, especially when we don't have the players that we had to start the season with, has got to be managed better. Got to be managed better. I don't know why Skip came in. I would have put Valise or Donnelly on before I brought Skip on, as we are trying to salvage a point or go on to win it. But again, we go back to bringing on a defensive or an all-round midfielder. Yeah, Johnny, go on. You go, mate. You go.
Listen, I'm conflicted because, look, I was very brave. Very brave choice. Excuse me. Very brave choice of team selection. I thought the subs were wrong. I thought the in-game management again was wrong. But in a positive light, could you imagine Conte or Mourinho having 10 players out? They would have been talking about it all week. You know, the levels, we can't achieve anything with this. Look at the state I'm in. Look at all the... Don't hear any of that from Ange. Don't hear any moaning. This is what it is. You need to get on with it. You know, we don't change. Our philosophy stays the same. So I admire that. I think his press conferences are great, win or lose. I don't want to hear him tell me that Eric Dyer is great. I don't want to hear him tell me bullshit. I just want to hear it as it is. I thought the fact that he hasn't blamed all the injuries, he's just saying it's part and parcel of football. I would like him to say that we've been unlucky with the injuries and maybe what is causing it for us to have so many more. Is it his intense football style? You know, is that in training? That intensity is obviously in training as well, right?
Yep.
So is that intense training? I mean, this is us playing one game a week, Brian, right?
Well, we're saying
one game a week.
We're
the
saying
least
that
amount of games than any team in the 6 divisions in the English League. What would we be like had we been in the Cup or in Europe?
You say that. You look at it now, and you say one game a week. We are going into the period where this, obviously for any team, this is for any team across the Premier League. This could not have happened at a worse time. And I listen. This is about Ange Postecoglou, but I'm having to bring him up. I'm having to bring up my nemesis, the one that no one can blame and point the finger at, because obviously he's whiter than white. He's making money, and he's doing everything that we can do off the pitch so we can benefit on it. With every passing defeat, with every passing week, with every single suspension, January is becoming more and more vital. And then every single time we hear Spurs fans go, oh, this is the window. This is the window where things have got to be done. This is the window. It's different this time. This is the way things are going now. Ange Postecoglou has asked for it to come in early. We all know that. We've all seen it. The rumours, and they could be complete paper talk, so I'm not biting at every single one. But not only are we losing players because they're going away on international duty, we could have injuries. January is vital. January is absolutely pivotal, and now we're going to see if Ange is trusted. Now we're going to see if Levy, we're going to feel the fibre of his fabric, as they say in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. This is when we're going to see,
your fabric.
Like you said, Ange can only do what he can, and we know even people like myself, Stel, Sava, Danny, all the other Levy outers, Ryan, Billy, I can go on and on with names. I can't keep mentioning hundreds of names. Yourself, Johnny, we know it's not going to be done in one window.
Yeah.
We know that. We're not stupid. But there comes a time where you've got to look at things and say, right, this window, serious stuff needs to happen. And with Ange, like you said, he's not mentioning and the thing that gets me as well is people are going on. What if and we've had this discussion, Johnny, and a lot of channels had this discussion of who was our signing of the season or what's. And I think we can clearly see I can clearly see Van der Ven was more of a necessity than Maddison. And the only reason I say that is even without him, we're creating 18 chances.
Correct.
Without Van der Ven, and obviously that's Romero with him as well, we were conceding before, but we had them there. We had Maddison. For me, we are creating opportunities right now. We all knew we needed another centre-back. We all knew it. No matter where you sit on Levy, wherever you sit on Ange, wherever you sit on anywhere, even the pundits that aren't Spurs will say Tottenham needed another centre-back. And here we are. And now we have to look and wait and see what happens in January, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, listen, look, we knew. I just think, selling Sanchez, whatever you thought about Sanchez can play the high line. This was about bringing in £13 million into the club. What was more important, bringing the £13 million into the club or having cover at right back? Whatever you think about him, he can recover. He's got the pace to recover. He would have been playing. Right now, and same Reguilon. I just think it was about money, getting money in for Reguilon, getting money in for Sanchez, but no thought about having cover at left centre back. It should have been our priority.
Well, that's the thing. When you look at it now with Ange, and Ange is this, like Sava mentioned, like you mentioned, when it comes to in-game management, he has got to do this now coming into December. He has got to, listen, I will never, ever, ever put pressure on a manager. Never have done, never will do. People will know where I put my pressure and where I take my time and all my effort. What he has got to do, like you said, like Sava said, like a few people said, in-game management. And coming into December after Man City, it is just game after game after game after game with a depleted squad. So now, do you know what? Question for you. With Man City, you know how teams that are lower down the division, they go, it's a free hit. Going to Man City is a free hit. Right now, with our depleted squad, do you call it a free hit for Tottenham Hotspur? Do you say, okay, listen, do you know what? This probably if we had our main 11, I'd say, do you know what? We're going to give them a fucking game. We
can give any team a game with our first 11, any team. And that's
what I'm saying. But would you, with this game, say a free hit and maybe Donnelly, maybe Dorrington?
No, because Donnelly's not going to start, right?
No, I'm not saying from start. I'm saying get some minutes.
Well, maybe he should get minutes. Maybe he'll get minutes. I don't know. I think Sonny will probably score against Man City. He'll probably bury one of those chances.
And still be on side for it.
He's the master of offside at the moment. Can I just say, if this was Richarlison right now, okay, we wouldn't be hearing the end of it, right? Offside. Okay. Just putting it out there.
Yep.
Okay, you can't have one rule for one and one rule for another. But it's a free hit in the sense that no one expects anyone. Well, no one in their right mind expects us to get anything. So anything we may get, the one thing we don't want to get is an absolute hiding, because that really will hurt us, I believe. I hope Romero's watching this and realising what he's done to his team from that moment, because let's be honest, without that moment, we would have beaten Chelsea. I reckon we would have beaten Wolves, and we 100%, I reckon, even without Mickey van der Ven, I reckon we would have beaten Villa personally. But there you go.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing with Romero. He got sent off, but then you could say, let's blame VAR for VDV getting his injury. Adoji, in all honesty, the one VAR thing that's gone right is how Destiny didn't get a red card at the first tackle against Chelsea baffles me. If he had done that, would Romero have done this? It's all a game of...
Look at Nketiah's challenge on Vicario in the North London derby. You know, it wasn't even... I mean, really?
Mate, it's nonsense. But that will bring the end to Ange Management. Johnny, where can people find you?
Johnny H 3232, and you can find me there, back doing some of the spaces, just started back. And I was going to say you can find me on my Instagram, which had about 9,500 followers, but I've just been suspended for posting the elbow video, not the actual game, right, the studio bit, because it's breach of copyright. And the Premier League have come for me, and Instagram have blocked and sent off my account. So I'm in appeal. I don't have much hope. So months of work down the tube.
You should get Man City's lawyers. Your account will be back up very, very soon.
Honestly, there's people twerking. Well, not men.
Don't get me started. What you can get away with.
There's people twerking and doing all that sort of stuff. But God forbid you should post a clip from the studio showing a clear penalty. Anyway, it is what it is. That's my...
It is. But listen, what we've got coming up, Cockerel Doodle Doo will be out back tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Our brother, our channel member, Ben, is literally got his stream at 2 p.m. every single day. So please, apart from 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, so everyone go check out Ben at the Coffee House. Sava is about to go live, apparently, from what he's saying, in 12 minutes. But we are doing a lot of recording for our Advent calendar, which will be premiering as of Friday, which I believe is the 1st of December. Cockle-Doodle-Doo will be back every single day. And the Late Show with myself, Brian Ireland, and Bobby Kay will be back Wednesday evening. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that watched. Thank you to everyone that put super chat in. Thank you for everyone in the comments. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment.
And follow.
And I've got to do this now because I've got the blurred background. I've got to get the... I can never do it. Here we go. And as always, Levy out. Tottenham talk.